good, or was I rolling?
Yeah.
It's not getting better than that. What the? 1, 2.
Sorry. Wow. Okay. Even at the little bobble.
What's up, everybody? I'm gonna talk today about the Fifth Element versus the Roces SL. So Roces Fifth Element, Roces SL. Want to talk? These are kind of two of my favorite skates. I've narrowed it down to, and I have tried almost everything in the industry. I want to talk to you guys about why they're some of my favorite skates, and go over to some of the similarities, differences, pros and cons of each one. So let's talk about the similarities, because there are some. They are both wider fitting boots. They both have good amounts of flex. They both have kind of deep channels that hold your, the SL has a lot deeper of channels, but they both have a recess in the sole plate that the frame goes into, which I think is important. And they both have a decent amount of volume. So they both, if you have thick feet, they both have a little bit of room, and they both run a little big. So I'm a size 10 in most shoes, and both of these both of these skates are size 9, but with the right liners, they fit a size 10 shoe foot really well. And I'm kind of in that cursed size range where I'm like 9.5, 10-ish. Most plastic skate shells have a break where they do 10, 11, or 8, 9. Most 8, 9 shells are too small. Most 10, 11 shells are way too big. So I end up having to either buy a size 9 shell and hope it runs big like these two do, or I have to buy a size 9 shell and whip out the Dremel and start cutting on stuff, which is not really ideal. But yeah, so that's about as far as it goes in the similarities. Now let's talk about some of the differences. So one of the main differences, the SL's cuff sits way taller, and also on top of that, it has a bottomless design. So the only thing between you and the frame is the sole plate. So not only does it run taller both visually, but also you're sitting lower on the inside. So it does feel like the cuff runs further up your leg, which is awesome for ankle support, and it feels more secure. It can, for some people, they say the SL feels a little too stiff because of that, but I like it because I have long legs and I feel like it gives me something to lean my leg into and gives me actually more leverage. And I still think there's plenty of flex in these boys still. It's a nice soft plastic. Whereas this is the opposite. Instead of being really nice and low to the ground, you feel like you're really high off the ground and really separated from your grinds and your rolling experience, because this sole plate's super thick, the boot plastic itself is really thick, and you just have like more layers because it doesn't have that bottomless SL technology. So that's one of the big differences. And the cuff is really low, and this plastic's really flexy. So for top sides and stuff, this skate is pretty amazing. But it's almost too flexy, where if I'm hitting like bigger jumps or riding taller transitions, sometimes I feel like it doesn't have quite enough support, especially with stock liners. The Intuition liner kind of makes up for that, and it's kind of like a balancing ground. They both skate anti-rocker really well. The SL, in my opinion, skates flat better because it has a deeper channel and you're lower to the ground, so you can feel your grinds and feel what's going on. And I feel like I got less wheel bite when I skated this skate flat versus this skate flat, and that was with the ground control Featherlight 4 frames. I haven't tried my Wish frame on the Fifth Element yet, but I'll probably do that soon, and I'll talk more about that in the review video I do on the Wish FR frames. But yeah, they both skate anti-rocker great. I think I kind of like this one almost more for anti-rocker if I'm focused mostly just on grinding and stuff. I kind of like this one more as like an all-around skate where I'm gonna try to go fast, jump some stuff, also grind some stuff. The SL is kind of like, it's just a trooper. You can do everything in it, and that's what I really like about that. You can do everything in this, but like I said, on bigger jumps and stuff, you gotta be a little more focused because it is a little more floppy. Let's talk about the sole plates. They're about the same width, I would say, on both the positive and negative sides. Maybe the SL's a little wider on the positive side, and the fifth element might be a little wider on the negative side. But I felt both of these skates are awesome skates that I can do all of my tricks on. I don't have a problem with any of them. But yeah, they've both been really favorite. I'm on the SL currently. I've been kind of obsessed with it. I think I'm probably gonna keep spending some time in the SL. It's been super fun. The one bummer is, the one advantage I would say that the fifth element has over the SL is it works really well with intuition liners. Whenever I put intuition liners in Razor skates, I get too much heel lift, and it's just kind of an overall bummer, which is sad because I love how Razors skate, and I love how intuition liner feels, but Razors come from an era of when fat liners were kind of the rage. And even though the rain liner, which is still a really good liner, is low profile up here for your toes and stuff, it still is really poofy around the ankles. Whereas Intuitions, they've designed to be performance, so as thin but stiff and responsive as possible. And yeah, so the new style Intuition liners just don't fill out the ankle heel area in the SL the way I'd like to, so I do have to ride. And it's still a great liner, but it's not, I would still prefer the Intuitions, obviously, because that's the best liner you can get. And I would say in some ways the fifth element might be a little more comfortable. I don't get any toe pain at all, but I do get a little bit of pressure on the outside of my foot in the fifth elements, whereas the SLs is really interesting. It feels perfect until I've skated a couple hours, and then I think just from sweating and jumping around, my foot kind of starts to slide more towards the toe box, and by the end of the session, my big toe hurts just a little bit from hitting the end, but nothing that I can't manage or deal with. But yeah, so that's kind of a comparison and talking about the fifth element versus the Razors SL. Have you guys skated any of these? Which one do you think is better? Which one would you choose? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's have a discussion about it. But thanks for watching. See you next time.